Hi everyone. This afternoon or this morning, I'm going to teach you a little bit more about adding two-digit numbers. So we've done quite a lot on this week, and we're getting really good at it. Now, today it gets a little bit trickier because we're going to look at two-digit numbers where the ones add up to more than 10, okay? And that can make things a lot trickier. So for example, if I have a two-digit number like this, 14, and I'm adding a two-digit number like this, 22, then my ones numbers, 4 and 2, they add up to 6, don't they? Okay, so that makes that really easy to add up because I can add 1 10 and 2 10s, which is 3 10s, and 4 10s and 4 ones and 2 ones is 6 ones. Nice and easy. Now the problem comes when I have a number that has the ones that add up to a number larger than 10. So for example, if I had something like this, 27 add 15, okay? I have a lot of information I have to hold in my head here. Now, some of you might be really, really good at holding this information in your head, but lots of us need to write it down to help us to remember it. And this is one way you can do it, because 7 and 5 has to be more than 10. We know that because 7 and 3 makes 10 and 5 is bigger than 10, isn't it? So I'm going to show you a way that you can solve this problem. And today we're going to be solving them on a number line. This is one of the ways you can do it. Now you might find that this way is really, really complicated and you don't actually like it. And that's absolutely fine. But it's worth having a go at just to make sure that you know how to do it or you've had a go at it. So my problem that I've got today is this one. 27 add 15. Now, I've already drawn my number line here because I could do it on a number line that's really there, or you could do it 100 square. But the problem is you're not always going to have 100 square or a big long number line. So it's good to be able to draw your own. Now we could draw 0 all the way up to however big we want it to be, 50, 60, but that's going to take a long time and it's very easy to mix it up. So we're going to make it more simple, okay? We're going to do what we did before. You might remember doing this. We've got our first whole number, which is 27. So 27 is going to go on my first line because that's my first part, isn't it? There's going to be nothing before that, but there's going to be things after that because we're adding on 15. Now, I'm not going to add on the whole 15 right away. I'm going to do it in 2 steps. Now, my first step is going to be, I'm going to add on the 10. Then I'm going to add on this 5. Now, I'm going to split this 5 into 2 parts. Do you remember how we looked at before? We looked at this with subtraction, we've looked at this with addition. We looked at adding on or taking away, depending on which you're doing, to make the next 10, okay? And we're going to do that again. So we're going to partition this number into 2 parts, okay? Let me just get my coloured pen so I can show you what I mean by that. So we're going to have a green pen. I haven't got a green pen, so I'm going to use a purple pen, but yours will be green on your worksheet. So I'm going to have one part here and the other part here. Now at the moment we don't know which parts we need to do, but we've got a big clue. We look at the ones in this number. Now the ones in this number are 7, and we want to make those ones to 10. So what goes with 7 to make 10? Have a think, what would it be? 7 add 3 makes 10, doesn't it? So my first part's going to be 3. Now, I know I'm making 5. 5's my whole, 3's my part. What's my other part going to be? It's going to have to be 2, isn't it? Because 3 add 2 is 5. So 2 is going to go in there. Now, I've done all the steps I need to do, ready to solve this problem. So I know it starts at 27, and I've written that in my first box. I know I'm adding 15, which is 10 and 5, or 10, add 3, add 2. That's just another way of making 15, isn't it? So just remember that 1 doesn't mean 1 there, does it? It means 10, okay? If it was 25, that would be a 2, wouldn't it? But it's not, it's 15, so it's 1 10. So I'm always going to jump on my 10s first. So I'm going to do a jump of 10 because I've only got one 10. So I'm going to do my jump and I'm adding 10. Now I just like to label this just so I know what I've done. And when I've added 10, I can use my 100 square if I'm struggling, or if you know it off by heart, you can, to find out what 27 add 10 makes. So I know that 2 10s add 1 10 is 3 10s. So it's going to be 3 10s, 37, because there's no ones there, so those ones don't change, do it. So I've done my first part, I've added my 10. Now all I've got left to do is add my 5. Now you notice that this box I've done is a different colour, and yours are yellow on your worksheet, but I've had to do purple because I don't have a yellow pen. So this is my first little jump, which is going to take me to my next 10 number. That's why we've got this 3. So we're going to do the jump of 3. And that 3, 37 add 3, well, 7 add 3 is 10. So 37 add 3 is going to be 40. If you're not sure about that, check it on your 100 square. So I'm going to write 40 in my coloured box. What would be your yellow box? Now, I've added the 3, but I've still got to add the 2 because it's 5 altogether, isn't it? So I'm going to add the 2 on. So it's really easy, isn't it, to add 2 to a number that ends in a 0. The 2 ones just replaces the 0 ones. So I'm going to have 42. So 27 add 15 is 42. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to show you one more example of that, just so I know that you're really, really confident with it before you start having to go to your worksheet. So I'm going to draw it all from scratch so you can see exactly how you do it. And you can have a practice of this if you want to. So I'm going to do quite a big number now, just to show you how it can be different. I'm going to show you 2 ways you can do it. So I'm going to do 38 add 36. Okay, so first step, draw my number line. Just draw it as long as you want it to be. Use a ruler if you've got one because it makes it easier. I haven't got one. And then what you're going to do, just trying to make sure I'm on the camera. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 38 because that's my whole number, isn't it? Okay, but this time it becomes a little bit trickier. I'm not adding 1 10, I'm adding 3 10s, aren't I? Now remember, before we do that, we're going to partition up, aren't we? So partition that 6 up. Let's get our 2 part holes. Sorry, our 2 parts in our part hole. Okay, now we've got 8 ones here in 38, haven't we? So that's the important part. So I need these 8 ones to add to whatever's here to make 10. What goes with 8 to make 10? That's right, it's 2. So we've got 2 in there. But we're trying to make 6, aren't we? So what goes with 2 to make 6? What's the other part? That's right, it's 4. So we've got our parts now. We've done all the hard work. We can now start to solve our problem. Now, there's 2 ways you can do this. I'm going to show you the long way first, and then I'm going to show you the short way afterwards. It's up to you how you do it and how confident you feel. I know the slightly easier worksheet that I'm giving you is this first way, but the harder one is the second way. But it's up to you to choose how you like to do it, how you feel more confident. So I've got 3 10s to add on. Now, I could do a jump of 30, but I might find that harder to add up. So I'm going to do 3 jumps of 10. So I'm going to do 1 jump of 10. So 38 add 10 is 48. That's 1 10. Then my second jump of 10, 20. 48 add 10 is 58. Then I'm going to do my third jump of 10. 58 add 10 is 68. So I've got 10, 20, 30. I've added my 30 on. Now all I've got to do is add my 6 on. So first of all, I add my part that gets me to the next 10. So 68, sorry, 68, add the 2 here, gives me 70 because 8 add 2 is 10. Then I've got the extra 4 to add on. Now I know that if I add 4 ones to 0 ones, it has to be 4. So the 4 ones just replaces the 0. So add 4. So 70 add 4 is 74. And that would be my answer, 74. Now I'm going to show you the faster way, but it's a lot easier to make a mistake. So I would only recommend this if you're really, really confident. So draw my line again, starting with 38. Still got my partition, so I'm adding 36. So the 6 is 2 and 4. This time, rather than just adding 3 tens, I'm going to add the 30 straight away. And I know that 38 add 30 is 60, because 3 add 3 is 6, 30 add 30 is 60. So 38 add 30 has to be 68. Just like we got to here. Okay, just taking less steps to do it. Then I'm going to add my 2, which takes me to 70 from here. Then I'm going to add finally my 4, which takes me to 74. So on both of them, we get the same answer. Okay? So that's all there is to it. Now, if you want to pause that video, rewind it, watch it again. If you find it a bit tricky, please feel free to do that. I know it's quite tricky to understand it. And I know mums and dads that lots of boys and girls find this quite hard every year. So please, please do not panic if your child struggles with this and can't get their head around it. It requires a lot of number knowledge. It requires a lot of fluency in maths, and some children aren't quite there yet. We are going to do other ways of solving this problem, ways that I think are much, much more accessible for lots more children. But this is one way that we like to give children the option to do. So, on the worksheet, if you do find it quite tricky and you're not able to do it with what's laid out, feel free to do what I've just done here and just draw your own from scratch. It doesn't have to be on the worksheet. You can just get a piece of paper, write the number sentence down, do your partitioning, draw your number line, and do it that way, okay? There's no right or wrong way to do it as long as you get that answer. But it's really important that we look at what goes with this first number to make it to the next 10. That's really, really, really important. And we only do that on the ones of the second part, okay? We don't do anything with the tens of the second part. I hope I haven't confused you too much. See you soon, year 2. Bye.